Hello and welcome to the Bel-E Scratch podcast. I'm your host, Bel-E.
And I'm your co-host, Scratch.
And today, yeah.
What's our theme?
Boo. What? Our theme is apparently, here's the thing. I know we didn't exactly have a plan when we started this whole thing.
Yeah.
Not really. I mean, the plan was to redneck up a recording set, which we've done masterfully so.
I think so.
And we just talk into a can for about an hour and a half or more. And that was about the extent.
We talk and you listen.
Yeah, that was about
that.
That's about the extent of the plan.
We talk, you listen.
Yeah, and so basically our theme has become social commentary and a bunch of backyard bitchin'.
Everybody loves a critic.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's the thing.
Everybody hates a critic.
Yeah, everybody hates a critic.
Anybody can be a critic.
Yeah, anybody can be a critic.
Look at all the people that have made tons of money on...
Just bitching about other stuff.
Just, yeah.
Yeah, but exactly. I like how...
Just cranking it out.
Yeah, I like how being the critic used to be like a noble profession. Somewhat notable. Notable profession. Like the person had to be very articulate with their demeanor and their words upon writing or perhaps even recording their critique
or a big fuzzy mustache that made you look like a clown.
Exactly.
One or the other.
And then
And
then I think it was Beavis and Butthead that actually broke that.
Really?
Oh yeah, because their show, I don't watch a lot of Beavis and Butthead, just not my thing.
No, it's not my thing.
You know, if I want to watch two douchebags share a brain cell, I'd go walk around my own city.
Ren and Stimpy gets close.
Ren and Stimpy kind of gets close.
Gets a little psychedelic in there.
Yeah, that cartoon was made of drugs. Like, not on drugs, made of drugs.
Made of drugs.
Yeah, there's a difference.
Yeah, I could see that, yeah, absolutely.
But Beavis and Butthead,
that'll stand up in court, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, of course. But Beavis and Butthead were basically, like, half of their show was just them existing. Let's face it, I don't know if there was much of a plot. They just kind of existed.
Well, you know what would be so wild?
What?
The only way to transition that particular genre into today, instead of sitting in front of a TV,
they're in front of a computer,
a game controller.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's basically what they were.
Brom, brom, brom.
Yeah, and the other half of their show was them like reacting to music videos that were out at the time.
Yeah.
You know, like watching Cowboys from Hell with their commentary on top of it, like a Mystery Science Theater thing.
Yeah.
Mystery Science Theater also helped break that whole critiquing profession to where something that at one point, and even to this day, these people still exist, at one point the critique was a thoughtful, keen and discerning eye upon the movie, music, play, whatever, art.
Yeah.
And now it's basically been reduced to, you know what, all we really need is just two jackasses sitting on a couch talking shit. That is how the critique profession has come.
Woo!
And we're living it, buddy.
That's right.
So, you know.
So shut up and take it.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's
But here's the thing. You and I, we try to be fair.
I like to think so.
I like to think so, too. At least I know I tend to do the whole, like, on the one hand versus the other. Right. I know that.
Right.
You know, I at least appreciate you for the fact that you're, on some things, you're like, this is how I feel. And that's it.
Yeah.
Because I don't really do that. So oftentimes I find myself conflicted. It's like, you know, I can see it from their point of view, and then there's also my point of view where I'm going, what the fuck is wrong with you, etc.
I don't know if I use the term conflict. I use consideration.
Fair enough, I guess. I'd be a terrible lawyer. Because I'm like, okay, so my client says
Don't
this.
sell yourself short.
Look, I'm not my grandma who, if she had the learning, she'd be a fantastic lawyer. If she had the school learning and lack of morals,
down, yeah.
Oh yeah. That's where you and I basically have inherited our way of interrogating people.
You have to enjoy the questioning.
Oh, I do. I loved it.
Deboning people.
Oh yeah. Back at my warehouse job, that was like one of the main things I enjoyed the most. Just some idiot out in the field, they do something, and I would ask them enough questions, enough to where I understood what the problem is, but then they get into the technical stuff, which I'm not a tech, and then I would have my boss and or, like, other technicians who knew what they were talking about feed questions into my ear as I interrogate these people.
Sure.
And it's like, I miss that. But at the same time, I got it back in the personal training where I'm asking them about, like, what'd you eat Monday at 3:40 p.m.?
Tell me what I need to know or get a big headache.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So I enjoy that. I do enjoy that aspect of, hey, what you eat the past week since I haven't seen you.
Well, a lot of times, you can bring something to the...
Better be chicken.
Being an objective outsider, third-party observer.
Sure.
You hope you can bring a unique perspective to the conversation.
Oh, yeah.
I don't set out to do that, but
no,
I appreciate it when it happens.
Oh, yeah. Indeed. Yeah, you always appreciate the third-party person.
You like to think so. I
like to think so. Back before the Cheeto Man got into office, that was basically what I used to do. The way I read news... Way back in the before times.
The before times.
Yeah, that's now what we're calling pre-beer flu, is the before times, apparently. Which is fair. I mean, that's fair. The beer flu was a sentinel event. Let's be for reals.
Globally, yes.
Yeah, let's be for reals.
Yeah.
So, what I would used to do was, like, there's a particular news story that breaks out. I would look at... I don't want to give these people names, even though I probably already named them. There's, like, the red party side of the story.
Yeah.
And then there's, like, the blue party side of the story.
Yeah.
And they usually have some pretty differing opinions, obviously.
Yes, obviously.
And then I would try to, like, look at what was the same thing said in each article,
Right.
Like, basically the things that they both can agree on and not just, Jimmy Johnson did it or no or whatever. And then I'd go and look at the BBC.
Right.
Who, let's be fair, in terms of news that is not really oriented towards them, like, they might spin English news.
Yeah, you might think.
But something happening in, like, Italy or China, well, maybe that's maybe, or like India or places that are not England, I don't think they give a shit.
Right.
Because why would they?
Why would they? Yeah, I noticed that too. It used to be, I found them to be, they would broadcast things that
no one over here would even talk about. Wouldn't even broach the subject.
No one in North America would even talk about. Right.
That was before the Cheeto Man got into office, and then all hell broke loose.
And all hell broke loose.
And now I don't know what is happening anymore.
Well,
because during the Cheeto Man in the office, it was just Cheeto Man bad, Orange Man bad, all the time. And whether or not you agree with the Cheeto Man, that's not up for discussion. My issue was, what else is happening?
Right.
You see what I mean? It wasn't...
Well, I think what a lot of people miss out...
And now it's just wall-to-wall coverage of the panini, and that's literally it. It's like, okay, so we're just not going to talk to each other at all about what's happening, are we? And then I decided, you know what? Fuck all this. I'm not watching the news anymore. I'd rather be uninformed and happy versus informed and fearing for my life.
Misinformed.
Yeah.
You'd rather be uninformed and happy than misinformed.
Something.
That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
And it's interesting how it's gotten to that point. It really has. What I think a lot of people don't understand is take every situation that, say, a country's leader could be involved in.
Sure.
There's a whole lot of negative, and there's a whole lot of positive.
Mm-hmm.
There's a positive way to look at what they do, whether they're successful or not, and there's a negative way to look at what they do, whether they're successful or not. And you have these two factions, and one is emphasizing, even overemphasizing the negative, one is emphasizing or maybe even overemphasizing the positive.
Ugh.
But it's the same event, right?
Yeah.
So I just think it's really a shame because, well, for one thing, I think it's, I don't know. I've just always had I take everything with a grain of salt.
Mm-hmm.
I want to, anything that sounds too good to be true always is too good to be true. You know.
Indeed.
Like, you know, you can have everything and it not cost you a dime. Well, it just doesn't work that way.
No, it does not.
And I don't care who gets up in front of you and tells you that. Tells you there's no price to be paid.
That person is selling something.
That person is selling something. And I don't want to call him a liar.
But you ain't calling him a truther.
But I'm not calling him a truther. So,
yeah.
You know, I just don't get that. I mean, I don't expect I mean, I know I can be a little, I know I can be a little, cantankerous
yeah.
or, a little disagreeable. But
yes.
There are things in play, especially in high places and, society and the culture and politics that I just don't, what I don't agree with is someone telling me I should agree with that lock, stock, and barrel and not question it. Don't tell me. See, I ran into that a long time ago. I grew up in a very
Preacher's kid.
Religious subculture.
Oh, yeah.
And I can remember that same spirit of A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and don't question it. So I know what it looks
mm-hmm.
like. That's why I've gotten to the point where I don't think everybody wants to point that finger at organized religion. It's not organized religion. It's just the way people are.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
it can literally be
question
anything.
my life choices.
Yeah.
Validate my life choices or, you know, take a beating.
Yeah.
Now it's mostly social bullying.
Oh, yeah.
That's something that gets on my nerves. I was talking about this with a friend the other day.
Yeah.
You know, when I was growing up, you had to be careful what you said about people because you get popped.
It basically, the world is basically
in the schoolyard.
It basically used to work like Letterkenny.
Oh yeah.
You know, bad gas travels fast in a small town, and then at some point at the end of the day, Wayne's gonna show up on your front door and punch you in the mouth.
So are you advocating violence? No, I'm not advocating violence. What I am telling you is
that used to be
the way things were dealt with. Well, we're much more advanced.
No, we're not.
Are we? Really?
No.
It doesn't look like it to me.
No, what has happened essentially here's the thing. I don't per se agree. Here we go. What I was talking about earlier. Here's the thing. I don't agree with the whole lie. Well, first of all, you shouldn't be shit talking somebody to begin with.
True.
Or you do it in the privacy of your own house and not at like a party or a club where you know they're gonna be.
Well, I mean,
you're basically starting a fight.
Well, there's ways of doing that.
Sure. Here's the thing.
Without bringing somebody's family or job or home into play.
Correct.
For crying out loud, cowards.
Indeed. So
anyway.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing. Obviously, you don't want to start that fight way back when. But the problem is, and it can actually be blamed on the internet. People are so used to hiding behind a mask and saying some crazy shit online and getting away with it.
Right.
Or even finding environments that kind of regurgitate and like an echo chamber, basically.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And that happens across the board,
It
by
happens
the way.
across the board, too. Yeah.
And now I'm starting to see stuff like that filter into real life where people have, they've gotten so used to talking a lot of smack online and not having to back it up.
Right.
Now they talking that same smack, bringing it into real life.
It's not going to work out well.
Yeah, it's not going to work out. It usually doesn't. and then they then these same people who talking some crazy shit.
Don't think I'm taking a whole bunch of joy in it. I've crossed the line with a few people, and a couple of them were my friends.
Hey, take your lumps.
And I went over the line and had to defend myself.
Yeah, it's called taking your lumps. No shame in that.
No shame in that.
As long as you don't keep doing it.
I didn't do it.
So,
you got to learn.
No, I get it. But that's the whole thing in a nutshell.
Talk about triggering people, man.
Shit.
I've been charged.
I know you have. But that's what I mean. These same people that are talking this crazy shit in real life, and then they get popped, like they go take their lumps, then they stand up, ice pack on their jaw and go, what happened? I was just talking. Because these people obviously never been hit before.
I will never forget.
Ugh.
There was something going on in the Northwest a couple of years ago, and this influencer, social blogger, whatever.
Yeah, one of them.
I can't remember her name, but she's not as prominent as she used to be, at least not in any circles that I come into contact with, which doesn't mean a whole lot. But I can just remember there was this thing where she showed up and she tapped on the wrong person.
Oh, no.
And absolutely got Muhammad Ali into the ground.
Yeah.
And they were showing some of her tweets before she arrived at said quote unquote mostly peaceful demonstration. And she wrote something like going to collect some Nazi scalps. And I read that and I was like, oh lady, you better be careful.
You don't want to do that.
I'm not don't think I'm throwing any shade. I'm not going to run up and jump into the middle of a mob either.
Yeah, but that's the problem.
You talk about privilege. Okay, who in the world, me personally, okay, whatever it is about my physical characteristics, being a large individual or being somebody with a husky voice and so on, whatever my pigmentation status might be, let me tell you something. I'm not going to run up and jump into the middle of a mob and think that God's on my side and I'm going to jump and then start throwing hands.
Yeah.
Nope.
You're not. Look, you are not Ip Man.
I am not Ip Man, right?
No one is Ip Man because he's dead.
And if you're not Ip Man, let me tell you something. You better watch out for this theology, whether it be associated with a higher power or even just society or politics, man. When it comes to spilling blood, you better watch it. I'm telling you something. You better stay out of that stuff. Okay.
No, it's not. This is not a thing.
There's a reason that they arrest these people at these really violent folks.
Oh yeah.
They've got like a record where they've been in jail about 4 or 5
times. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. You might be a law-abiding citizen thinking it might be cool to go walk in darkness, but I'm going to tell you something about darkness. Darkness, there are things that already exist in the dark, and you are entering
their turf.
Their turf. Okay.
Yeah. You stare at the void. Eventually, the void's going to stare back at you, and then it's going to think that you're looking at it funny, and it's going to clock you.
And
that's basically what happens.
Yeah. Think about hanging out with thugs. Is thugs draw thugs. And somebody's getting popped.
Indeed.
I'm just telling you. People call me what they want to, man. But when that stuff starts to gather, it's like storm clouds. It's time to seek shelter right there.
Oh, I know.
And call me what you will. All right. But when I see the clouds forming, buddy, I'm looking for higher ground. I'm telling you. Yeah.
No, I know.
Cut it any way you like it.
Oh, yeah. No, it's true. I've been in a situation like that somewhat recently, not too terribly recently. It was, there's this particular bar in my city that I like to frequent. It's not dangerous per se. Here's the thing. It's not some kind of upper class bar where there's wine, there's bottomless mimosas. They got like 4 or 5 bouncers, even though it's a fucking wine bar. Who the hell is going to get violent at a wine bar?
Karen.
Yeah, that's about it. That's literally it. But this place is also not like, the bottom rung watering hole that you see like Hell's Angels bikers go to. Like the really old Hell's Angels that, as long as it's not made out of gasoline.
That's
They'll
right.
drink it.
Sit in a chair and get a splinter.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of in the middle where it's a little rough, but it's like that bougie rough where there was some money put into this place, but that was like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Where it's not old enough to be considered a danger, but it's new enough to be considered, you know, a pretty decent venue.
Right.
And this place is structured very weird. I don't know who built this place, but it's a bar/venue.
Mm.
So on most days, it's just a bar. You know, you go up, get a drink. That's about it. They got food. You know, it's boozy enough to where they'll actually give you food.
Right.
Like food, not just like pretzels and shit.
Right.
And every now and again, I just pop in there, kind of stick my head in there, see what's going on, who's playing that night. And I think it was they're not local because they're like 3 states. They live like 3 states away, probably for the best. Like a local, regionally local, a Tool tribute band. This was like the second time they blew in there in like 3 months, and then they just kind of fucked off back to their home base.
All right.
And here's the thing.
Yeah.
These guys, I like these guys. Because they actually sound like Tool.
Cool.
You know, and they obviously play their own stuff, which is very Tool inspired.
Cool.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
And yeah, I like these guys. These are pretty cool guys. These are like the first guys to play at this venue that actually sounded like they were enjoying what they were doing.
Oh, that's always cool.
Yeah, they have a lot of bands blow through there, and a lot of it I don't care for, but anytime I've gone to see like any sort of like local rock band or anything like that that's from this state that just go there, they don't really sound like they're into it.
Really?
Like, what the fuck am I doing at this particular bar?
Not like Nashville.
No, it is not like fucking Asheville.
Nash.
Those people committed, probably because there were probably like 10 bands lined up right behind them that if they didn't commit, they were going to get replaced.
Right.
So they had to give it their all. But at this place, the Tool Tribute Band is the only band that I have personally seen, not counting others that I haven't seen,
Right.
the only rock/metal band that actually gives a shit about what they're doing.
Awesome.
Which makes sense, because this is a Tool tribute band. And Tool people will commit.
That is true.
So, what ended up happening is, you know, they're in the stage area, and they are just killing it.
Right.
Absolutely fucking killing it. However, drink. However, then all of a sudden, I'm at the actual bar, and then all of a sudden, you've been there before, haven't you?
I think so.
Yeah, it's where a lot of that punk market usually is at.
Oh, I mean,
that place.
A long time ago.
Yeah, but you kind of sort of remember the dimensions.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah, so it's not huge. It's a little small. No. It's kind of awkwardly designed where the bar is in a separate room.
Yeah, it did start out as a bar. It wasn't designed to be a bar.
No, it was not.
One of these places that used to be a mill or something.
Yeah, it was probably
a bar or some jazz like that.
Which, you know what? I like what they did with the place, considering it was probably a mill. But the bar isn't like a separate room from the band area, which I personally love that. Here's the thing.
When you sit at the bar, you try to have a conversation. You can't hear yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, except you actually can sort of hear yourself in that other room.
Well, that's just not a good thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I care for it because sometimes it gets a little loud, and it's like, hey, can you dial it back about 30%? Where I can still hear it, but it's like, oh, good, I don't have a headache.
Right.
Yeah, they all of a sudden a mosh pit starts forming.
Really?
And I'm like,
in that joint?
Yes.
Oh my God.
And I was like, no. Here's the thing.
I'm not saying it's a closet.
It's a fucking closet. promise you, that place is a
no
fucking closet.
There's no room for a mosh pit, I'm gonna tell you that.
They started the fucking mosh pit at a Tool concert, Tool tribute concert.
How much furniture got broke?
I don't know because I left.
Oh, man.
Here's the thing. The first time these guys blew through, it was after the Renaissance Festival. I was mildly hungover.
Sure.
And tired, and I was just exhausted. I had been dancing about 80% of the day.
Uh-huh.
I had gone home, took a shower, went back, danced more, changed out of my outfit, went to the Tool place at this bougie-ish bar. Upper class bar. Yeah, let's just say upper class, because it's not bougie. It's just a little upper class.
Just a little.
Upper middle class.
Oh.
They still, they kept it hygienic, so you know how it is.
Yeah, it's a nice place.
Yeah. It is a good place. No disrespect, but that is not the venue for when you start a fucking mosh pit.
One of those wood floors.
Yeah, wood floors, enclosed walls. Benches where benches don't need to be. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, as soon as I saw the whirlpool forming, I was like, oh no. I retreated further into the bar room, and then I started hearing, the music getting punctuated by crash, crash, crash. It was beautiful. I was so scared.
Yay.
I was like, you know what? I've been here about an hour and a half. These guys are going to go until 2 in the morning because that's just who these guys are, apparently.
Okay.
I'm going to leave. These guys were going to go until 2 or 3 in the morning. I got there at 10. Right. And it was about 11:30 or midnight. It's like, I think this was worth the $20 to get in. Sure. Yeah, an hour and a half of, these guys' original works and Tool covers, and then you guys starting to destroy the place. I'm getting the fuck out of here.
Effing floor show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big old floor show. So, here's the thing. I'm not afraid of mosh pits.
No.
Not my thing, because I know I'm going to get destroyed.
I don't want to get sucked into one.
No, I don't. You don't want to get sucked into one. Here's the thing. I don't want to go into the mosh pit inside of a closet.
Yeah. It's like water draining down a sink.
Oh yeah.
That whirlwind will just
they'll just snatch you up. Yeah.
Unless you have someone push you in.
Which that happens.
I know well. But anyway.
Indeed. But that's kind of my experience with something like that. Yeah. Here's the thing. The first time I went, there was no mosh pit.
Right.
It was just actual fans of the tribute band and the original band. This was definitely caused by some sharks in the water. Because I noticed some people who, they didn't look quite civilized. And there's a difference.
I know what you're talking about.
I don't mean, and here's the thing, I don't mean that whole they look rough, but they're actually a good person. No.
No.
Not those people. Those people are fine. You and I could technically be classified as looks really rough around the edges or looks...
I could hang out with them.
Yeah. But they're good people. Yeah, these were not the good people. These are probably the guys that picked up the bench and then threw it into the wall.
All right. Gotta have a hobby.
Oh, yeah. I'm just thankful the lead singer wore the riot gear again.
Well, I'm going to tell you something.
I was like, yeah, he's protected. You might want to watch the bass guy because he's over there in the left by himself.
He has the least amount of body armor on.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the drummer's got his drums to protect him. That's expensive to replace, but he's somewhat protected.
Fort.
Yeah, he's got a fort. The guitar player is standing next to a set of amps. The lead singer, he's got riot gear on because, yes.
You don't want to go after anybody near the amps.
No, you don't.
Because that knocks the song off, man.
Exactly.
You get your ass
and the bass player, he's by himself on the stage left. Poor motherfucker.
It's like the hostage pig.
Yeah, basically. Which is unfortunate because, look, if you're doing a Tool cover, the bassist is probably the fourth most important component of the song.
Definitely up there.
Yeah, it's not... Yeah. Here's the thing. With Tool, everyone is important. Some bands, you can just knock the bass player out of it and no one's going to notice.
That's unfortunate, but true.
Which, oh my god, it is so unfortunate. But you see, here's the thing.
Yeah.
I don't know what is with this stigma against bass players, and of course, I am opinionated and biased. I just mean there's this whole thing where bassists are not important. They're not essential. And I am biased and opinionated. But here's the problem. You know how I know bass is important in songs, no matter what? Well, I guess mostly no matter what.
How?
I keep finding current songs, like songs that have come out in the last 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
And someone on YouTube will take that song and make a bass-boosted version of it that gets millions of views.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Ariana Grande, Jonas Brothers, if they're still a thing. Anyone who's, like, active, Megan Thee Stallion, people who are current.
Yeah.
They'll get their, unless it's an actually bass-oriented song, they will get it taken, into, like, someone's audio lab, and they will make a bass-boosted version of it that just kicks it up about 200-300% in what it usually is.
Yeah.
Or just racks a shit ton of views.
Wow. Interesting.
And I'm like, that tells me that you guys need to start incorporating it because you're losing out on views.
Well, that's the thing about a lot of recorded music. You get it more based on live performances.
Oh yeah, because you can't really equalize everything 100% in a live show.
No.
I actually had a conversation about something.
And you're trying to make a lot of noise in a live show.
Sure.
So to cut an instrument down,
it's not really a thing.
Not really.
I actually had a conversation. One of my clients, because I'm a personal trainer, thank God. I like this job a lot.
Cool.
So, he's a musician, and I'm trying to find some kind of connection to where I have someone either sells me a bass and or teaches me, and you have these connections too. I'm just trying to figure out what's the most viable venue.
Right.
But I said to him, I personally prefer a lot of metal from, like, the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and a little bit of the early 2000s, but not an awful lot.
Right.
Because that's mostly new metal, and I'm not super duper big fan of that. It's okay.
It's okay.
Not my favorite. And I said to him, I would much rather listen to all this old shit, Metallica, Megadeth, Motorhead, a little bit of Iron Maiden, a little bit of Judas Priest, not a lot of Anthrax.
No.
That's just not my thing. That's a little too much.
It's a little too much.
It's a little campy for my taste, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Nothing wrong with them, just not my thing.
Not my thing.
Same thing with Pantera. Pantera's aight. Just aight.
I like them.
Yeah.
They're okay.
They're okay. But basically, but you see what I'm getting at, I'd much rather listen to that older stuff versus, because I'm just used to music sounding, like, really rough.
Right.
Unpolished, which is why I like thrash a lot.
Right.
But even then, some of the stuff like Iron Maiden and Motorhead, that's not thrash.
No.
That's not going as fast as humanly possible for the sake of going as fast as humanly possible.
Iron Maiden's more of like a theatrical.
Oh, definitely. But you see, they will still sound rough and unpolished, even as theatrical as they are. And Motorhead is basically just a souped-up blues band.
Yeah, it's a souped-up blues,
rhythm and blues
rock and roll band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically just a souped-up version of that. And there's nothing wrong with it. Excuse me. It actually makes sense why, for the longest time, I couldn't tell that Lemmy was playing a bass, because he played it like a rhythm guitar.
He does play it like a rhythm guitar.
Yeah, and me, right now, I currently don't understand the difference. I'm going to understand the difference.
Yeah.
But that was, for the longest time, I never realized he was playing a bass. So, And then you have stuff like, you know, but nowadays it's like Avenged Sevenfold, a little bit of Seven Dust, you know, modern metal and rock bands, which for me personally, I just can't get into. Cheville's about the exception.
Heavy bass on
Chevelle.
For a trio, yeah, they're great.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they got heavy bass on Chevelle. That's about the only reason I could probably stand them, especially their current stuff. But a lot of it is just... It either sounds way too polished, way too, you know, put together, or the singer just does not match the music. Like my issue with Avenged Sevenfold.
Oh, yeah.
Where the guy singing does not match the music.
No.
It's like, that music is a little too rough, and you are trying to sing in a similar style to Bruce Dickinson. I don't mean that vocal range, I just mean the theatricality of it, you see?
Yeah.
So that was kind of my issue with stuff like that. And I said this to him, like, what's the deal with that? And he told me something. A lot of recorded nowadays, obviously you know about the multi-track layering.
Sure.
That was, I think, invented by somebody from the band Boston. Was it Boston or Dawkins?
Tom Schultz.
Yeah, that
lead
guy.
Guitarist. The guy from Boston, yeah.
Yeah, basically. He figured out how to do that.
Well, they had done it, but there was only like 4-track.
Yeah.
So there was the guitar, there was the bass, there was the drums, and there was the singer.
And then they just slap it together.
And he created a 12-track all the way up to 24, I believe.
Uh-huh. Is it snowing?
No.
Okay, it just looked like it was.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, wait a minute.
I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, I was about to panic there for a sec. So, but that's the thing. Multi-track layering is not a problem.
No.
The problem is they will, apparently nowadays, not only will they just do that multi-layer track thing, they will also, on top of it, compress the music too.
Yeah.
Where everything is leveled out.
Yeah.
Or it's, it's very homogenized. This is also why a lot of people prefer that whole vinyl sound. Because it's not compressed a certain way to fit on digital.
That's true, yeah.
So that's kind of
I know. I run into that where I run into stuff that I like and it's remastered.
Yeah,
and
then
I listen to it and I'm like,
I
don't really like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's too clean.
It's
too smooth, too clean. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, kind of a current example for me personally is although I am on the fence of whether or not this is going to sound good, is currently Gary Newman is getting with his current producer.
Yeah.
And they're trying to, like, remaster his, basically his first couple of albums post Nine Inch Nails inspiration.
Right.
It's Exile, Pure, and there's like a third one is somewhere in there that I can't remember off the top of my head. But he's
I wouldn't mess with that stuff too much.
I wouldn't mess with that stuff too much. That was kind of my thing. Is like, please don't.
You know, it's kind of the during that particular time, whatever sound he was creating was really pushing the limits of the equipment. God. To record it. Mm-hmm. So there's almost an overload edge to it where it's blah, 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 blah. You know, it's this loud,
it's
wild. Loud. And if you bring that in too much, you clean it up too much, it'll be dun 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 dun. And that already exists.
Oh, yeah.
In the melody.
Yeah.
So.
But then again, on the other hand, like I said, I've already stated that I was like, please don't remaster your shit. Like, don't. You know, please don't do that. But on the other hand, I'm like, he could pull it off.
He could.
It's Gary Newman.
With that style, yeah.
It's Gary Newman. That electric synthesizer, computer-made music style, that's basically him. So it could work. You know, it
could work.
Yeah, it wouldn't be just, like people who only know how to play, like, the drums or the guitar or the bass, or to only sing, and that's it. Them and their producer trying to clean that up, and it loses its edge. For Gary Newman, his music started in the computer, right, and it's gonna fucking end in the computer. He understands how to manipulate it a certain way.
Sure.
As do all folks who prefer to do that electronic style. But anyway. So basically, he explained to me about the compression and how a lot of remastered stuff will sound very homogenized and a little bit lackluster.
Right.
Because they basically cleaned it up and compressed it, and it's like, this doesn't even sound the same. It sounds like it's in a different key than it should have been.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
No, it does. I mean, it really throws a lot of it off.
Mm-hmm.
Just,
sometimes it works.
Sometimes.
One of my favorite bands, Oasis, they had these guys. I love, here's the thing, I love Oasis.
Yeah.
More than Blur, for people who are, still talking about that nowadays. Like, guys, just leave it alone. Oasis went down the tube after their third album. Well, actually, it was their third album that caused that. And Blur made the Gorillaz. So, they won. But whatever. So, let's see. Oasis made these two albums. What's the Story, Morning Glory, and then Definitely Maybe. Their third album, Be Here Now, is got to be one of the most. I don't want to give it the title of one of the most obviously fueled by drugs album out there. Because here's the thing: when you say an album was fueled by drugs, you're thinking psychedelics,
Sgt.
weed,
Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band.
Some Beatles shit right there. You see?
Yeah.
Taking a drink. Or if you know anything about like Billy Joel, some of his stuff, that was cocaine.
Well, there was a lot of music in the 80s that was fueled by cocaine.
Oh, yeah. I mean, but here's the thing. When you say that, it's like...
serious.
Yeah, when you say album fueled by cocaine or album fueled by drugs, you're thinking like maybe psychedelics, probably cocaine. Here's the thing. Be Here Now, the album Be Here Now by Oasis was a combination of coke and meth.
Coke and meth?
Yes.
That doesn't sound like a good combination.
You can audibly hear it, too. The best song off of the album, I don't fucking...
Sounds like a heart attack in a bag.
That's kind of what it sounds like. I think one of the actual writer, like the lyric writer of the song, I forget if it was Liam Gallagher or the other one. Yeah, one of them basically said the album was the sound of a bunch of guys high on coke in the studio, not giving a fuck. And that is that album in a nutshell.
All right.
The best song off of that album is, Do You Know What I Mean? When it first came out, this thing was a monstrosity.
Yeah.
Like, guitar dubs over guitar dubs. You can't hear the bass. There's a string section, a little bit of brass. You can't hear the drum player. The Gallagher brothers has their echo pedal turned up to 11. You just can't.
Oh, they created something they couldn't.
Yeah.
They couldn't recreate live.
Exactly.
Oh, that's tough.
Oh yeah.
That kills a lot of bands.
Oh, that does kill a lot of bands. It was overproduced, soupy, and the whole album is like that. There's a couple songs where they kind of pull it back, but it's just like, you guys could have worked on this a little bit more. I don't mean in terms of production. I mean, like, this could have been written better.
Now, if you're somebody that sings to a recording or raps to a recording...
That's different.
That's different.
Oh, yeah.
But 3, 4, 5 individuals trying to gel, all playing instruments, and recreate that sort of sound.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that's not easy.
Mm-mm. And then a couple years ago, they came out with a remastered version of that song. They cut a shit ton of that stuff out of it.
Yeah.
Where you can actually now hear the guys in the actual band and not just some random orchestral pit they just brought in for the lulls.
I gotcha.
Them basically trying to become the modern day Beatles and failing spectacularly.
Spectacularly.
Yeah, so sometimes remastered music can work. I would argue remasters should work for. It's kind of.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of music, like a lot of music in the 70s that owes its. Well, let's look at punk.
Yeah.
Let's look at Sex Pistols.
Yeah.
It owes a lot. It owes at least 50% of its presentation to this rough, low production value kind of
that was kind of that was kind of the point.
That was kind of the point.
Yeah.
You know? So.
That was the appeal of the Sex Pistols and the Clash.
And a band like Kiss, you know, and their production albums, their studio albums, they're but they put on a great live show.
And then they eventually recorded their own live show and put that out.
Put that out, and that's what put them on the map.
Yeah.
Right.
Because they realized, look, the best thing about us is the live show.
Right.
Let's just record the live show.
Let's just record the live show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which must have been a pain in the ass in like 1970 something, whenever these guys actually did it.
Apparently it was.
So.
It's not common.
No, it ain't common. Even today, it's not super duper
not
common.
Not really. Well, playing live exposes a lot of flaws,
problems,
weaknesses.
No, I get it. Like, even today, one of my biggest pet peeves is when Broadway does not do like a pro shot of their own show. It's like, all right, it's like, okay, this particular play is only going to run for X number of months in a season, you know.
Right.
Why not do a pro shot? Like, don't have anyone in the theater, no people, nothing like that, you know.
Right.
Have them do the exact same play, record it, and then say once that play leaves their theater, just fucking sell copies of that pro shot. Trying to get them to do that is like pulling teeth. This is why we don't have the producers in a pro shot. Mel Brooks is the producers. I've seen pirated clips of when, you know, that was originally on Broadway. It kills. It was so good.
Really?
Arguably better than the movie. These little pirated clips, and it's like, why didn't y'all do this?
Huh.
Even to this day, it's like, you guys, just do a pro shot, like one of my favorites.
I wish they would. They just did Annie live.
Yeah, I would
love for them to do the producers live.
Oh my God, yes.
It'll just never happen.
Get everyone back. Like, we don't care.
It'll just never happen.
It will never happen. Yeah.
No.
Shit. I would pay through the teeth.
Oh yeah.
For a Hades Town pro shot. But they're not gonna fucking do it.
They're not gonna do it.
And it's like, guys, you could be making so much more money on this thing that's still happening. Why won't you do this? I don't know. I'm just irritated and clear-headed now.
What's your blood sugar low?
I'm drinking a Pepsi.
All right.
Yeah, whatever. So.
Yeah.
No, I'm just clear-headed and angry.
All right.
Well, okay, I'm not angry. I'm just opinionated.
All right.
So, blurred. Oh, gosh. Let's see, did I do anything recently to warrant talking about? Got another client. One of my other clients lost weight crazy fast. The musician.
Yeah.
This guy, I asked you previously, but I guess I'll just reiterate it. This guy, within 7 days, like no working out, just sticking to the diet I have him on, he goes from like 284 to 279 in 7 days. It's like, dude, you're now scaring the shit out of me. Because I'm used to...
Cash in on it.
Oh, I'm cashing in on it.
Push him hard now.
Okay.
Your body's found something that for
works.
the time being works.
Oh, yeah.
And cash in on it until he plateaus and stops losing.
Oh, I already have a plan for the plateauing.
Yeah.
So excuse me. So, no. It's just, here's the thing. I'm used to people losing pound a week. You know?
Right.
It's not that I don't push these folks, but they're not trying to get ready for competition. They're just trying to lose the excess weight they got over the panini.
Well, a lot of people don't lose weight because they've got their ratios off.
Sure.
You know, so much fat, so much protein, so many carbs.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that.
And
you just got to work around it.
If he hits the right recipe.
Clearly. Because I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god. It spooked me.
That's
He's
cool.
a good dude, but I was like, dude, why'd you just lose 5 pounds in 7 days? I'm like, why?
Somebody's got to do it.
I guess. So, here's to me within the very early light of my personal training career to find another mesomorph, essentially.
Look for the square head.
I did. He was a Marine, so Jarhead's not out of the question.
No, it's not out of the question.
Anyway, so I'm trying to think. I haven't really been watching a whole lot of media lately. I know you guys, you and the matriarch have been looking at like Yellowstone, which I know nothing about. All I know is Kevin Costner's in it.
Yellowstone is like The Godfather with cowboy hats.
That does actually sound awesome.
The movie The Godfather.
Yeah.
It's
So
really good.
Wait, is Kevin Costner Vito?
Yes, pretty much.
I can't.
But instead of the organization, it's the land.
Yeah.
Nobody is going to mess with the land.
Well,
It's my land.
I respect that a lot more.
It's pretty good. And plus the scenic views.
Well, no,
Well, I began to, watching this show helped me understand some dynamics. I began to understand why Montana is politically where it is. Because of all the quote-unquote billionaires that live there.
No,
That I did not realize. And I guess it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
West Virginia used to be like this during the 60s and the 70s. For
Sure.
the Rockefeller family and all the other really super wealthy people.
Mm-hmm.
It was West Virginia. Now it's Montana.
Huh. I wonder why.
Well, it's just the beauty of and it's unspoiled. And
I'm going to assume these people are going to keep it unspoiled.
For the most part.
Yeah.
I would hope. But, chasing the dollar is chasing the dollar. And
I get it.
It'll ruin just about everything.
Yeah, look
when
at
it comes to
California.
Yeah, look at California.
Anyway,
so, it's a pretty cool show.
Die Hard was just on.
Die Hard was just on, yes.
That's like that's my Christmas time bucket list right there.
Yeah. Yeah, John McClane.
Yeah.
And it is a Christmas movie.
No matter what Bruce Willis said at his own roast.
Bruce Willis says. Of course it's a Christmas movie. Well, the ending credits. The weather outside is frightful. Da, 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 da. Yeah, there's the ending credits right there.
Yeah.
And I love the now I have a machine gun. Ho, ho, ho. Line on the guy's shirt. It's a Christmas movie. Get over yourself, Bruce Willis.
He could have just kept his fucking mouth shut.
He could have. Well, what is he going to say?
I don't know.
And he gave it the perfect comeback. It's not a Christmas movie. It's Bruce movie. Okay, man.
Whatever, bro.
Whatever, bro. Yes,
yeah,
they do. Yes, they do watch and market this movie during the year.
Sure.
However, the largest audience that watches it is in December.
Indeed.
So slice that up any way you want to.
Yeah, and shut the fuck up too. Look, Die Hard is the perfect Christmas movie for people who want to celebrate Christmas and for people who want to see Hans Gruber fall off the Nakatomi Tower. Let's just face it.
All right. Yeah.
Fun fact about that, actually. The actual scene where Alan Rickman is falling into the green screen pit, because it is green screen. They're not dropping his
They'll drop that guy off a building.
No, they're not. They did not drop him off an actual building. May have been high enough to seem like a building, but that's a green screen pit.
He probably never even got in the elevator the entire time.
Probably.
It was on the set.
Yeah. But here's the thing, they told him they were going to drop, he was going to, they're going to drop him. It's the scene where Hans falls. Oh, spoiler, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, spoiler, go fuck yourself. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
When the actual scene where they drop Alan Rickman, they said, all right, this is going to be the scene where your character's being dropped off in Nakatomi Tower. You got to make it look good. You're getting dropped off of a 30-story building or whatever.
Here's your motivation.
Here's your motivation. You're like,
Splat.
Man. All right. So apparently what they did was they said on the count of 3, we're going to drop you. And of course, I would recommend these. Like I think he's either on a wire or they got a shit ton of padding underneath him, green screen padding. You know?
Probably one of the big balloons down
something,
there.
yeah, something to catch him. You know, where he doesn't die, and he clearly didn't die until several years later.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunate. Anyway. So they say that we're going to drop him on 3. They go 1 and let his ass
whoosh.
go. Yeah, just whoosh. So that scene where he is physically dropping down
and staring back
and staring at the camera. No, that's his legitimate reaction.
Yeah.
They dropped his ass on 1 and he started to wig out, and then it cuts to the stunt double being dropped off the actual building.
Right. Which was a heck of a stunt.
That was a heck of a stunt. Like, I'm looking at this going like, who the fuck?
That was the first time that stunt had ever been performed in a film.
Really? Just dropping somebody off the 30-story building.
You take a good look, and you can on these digital televisions, you can see there's... He is attached to something.
Oh, yeah.
And
he can't
it's
not
below him and above him. He's sliding down something.
Yeah, because he's moving way too smoothly in a straight line. Because when people drop, they get affected by air and gravity and inertia and shit. They'll just spin out of control and deviate in all sorts of directions.
You can see the stunt guy flatten out.
Oh yeah, he's falling in a straight line on his legs down. He's not spinning like you see people jump out of planes. They spin around and parachute, do loop-de-loops, and juke and jive all over the air. No, this guy's going straight down.
Yeah, he's going straight down. I remember they were and they shot it at night.
Probably for the best.
That was what was so crazy about it. They said, as dangerous as a stunt as it was.
It was at night,
and then they shot it at night. And, it was a big deal. It really was. I saw it in a special. They were talking about the movie.
Oh, yeah. I hope that guy got paid a whole lot for that.
Yeah, who knows?
Kind of like, what's that Burt Reynolds movie?
Hooper.
If you have not seen Hooper, go fucking watch it.
Yeah. You like to see stuff blow up.
Yeah, if you like to see shit get blown up and people just getting, ragdolled, Hooper. It is basically, Hooper is essentially a dedication to the stuntman of Hollywood.
Absolutely.
Stuntman, all sorts of set pieces everywhere, driving, fighting, explosions, they
horses,
jump a fucking
helicopters,
bridge. everything.
Rocket cars.
Yeah, everything.
Oh, everything,
They throw everything at these guys because they're stuntmen.
Right.
Hooper and shit like John Wick are the only movies where it's specifically dedicated to the stunt guys.
Yeah, one of my favorite parts of Hooper is when they're in that western town and they've got the stagecoach.
Yeah.
All the extras are crowded around getting somebody off the stage, and all of a sudden this hot rod car comes sliding around the corner and just buzzes up.
And everyone's going, "Oh, hey, Hooper!"
And everybody's like, "Hey, Hooper!"
Yeah.
That was just one of the coolest shots ever. But yeah, I like what John Wick does. They've done a lot of 101 self-defense, hand fighting type stuff. So
I respect. Yeah, I still respect the hell out of Keanu Reeves too.
Well, to go through that training.
Oh yeah.
Because
here's the thing: it's not just that they taught him how to shoot. No, they taught him how to shoot. They taught him how to fight, so he wouldn't require a stuntman for stuff like that. It's kind of the difference between, like in the Taken movies, it takes 12 separate cuts to get Liam Neeson over a fucking fence, and they're just going back and
Yeah,
forth
well,
between the stunt double and Liam Neeson. It takes like 12 cuts to do that. No, Keanu Reeves can just do that.
Liam Neeson standing in the middle of the room, getting ready to whoop some ass. He looks awesome.
Oh yeah.
But they have taken care of when there's a whole lot of movement, and yes, it's not easy for somebody his age to get over a fence.
No, I'm not saying the 60-year-old needs to get his ass over the fence.
No, when he's chasing people down an alleyway or some jazz like that.
Sure.
Or through a hotel corridor.
Oh yeah. I'm just saying that Liam Neeson is better being a threatening presence than being the fighter.
Yeah.
At least right now.
Yeah, he's really good at this guy that just happened to get caught up in these circumstances. And, it's almost like that. It's almost like that Die Hard kind of where he's like tough guy. He's visiting his family.
Yeah, a tough guy who's in the wrong place at the right time.
Bullshit in the world. And, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I always enjoyed movies that do that, honestly and truly. I would much rather have an action movie start off like Die Hard or like John Wick, where the main character just minding their business.
Just minding their own business.
Literally minding their own business. They're just kind of chilling. There was even a short with the Punisher like 10 years ago, somewhere on YouTube.
Oh yeah, I remember
He's just doing his fucking laundry.
Yeah, he's just hanging out.
Yeah, he's just hanging out doing his laundry. The Punisher, I forget what his non-superhero name is.
He just gets annoyed at
he gets annoyed because some
decline of Western civilization there in the street.
Yeah, some woman is getting brutalized outside the laundromat. He gets annoyed. He goes outside, he whoops somebody's ass.
Are there any good lines like,
I don't remember.
Time to tumble and dry you.
No, the Punisher doesn't do shit like that. The Punisher doesn't
man.
The Punisher doesn't crack out one-liners. He just kills you. That's the difference. But no, there was this short. It was like, John Wick. He's just filling up the gas in his car.
Oh, John Wick was like Braveheart, man. When there was the sadness over the loss of the dog, of the woman.
Yeah, the woman.
That was, and then all of a sudden,
and the dog that she gave him.
Yeah.
And you're like,
her token of love.
Yeah.
And then when they kill that dog, I'm like, oh my God.
You're like, oh shit!
He could have flayed these people, and everybody in the audience would have been crying, going, "Get the dog! Kill the dog!"
Yeah.
I'm not trying to make fun of it. It's just an interesting plot device.
Oh yeah, the Die Hard. He's
just
visiting
buy
his
right
wife.
into it. Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's visiting his wife.
Yeah.
He's trying to rebuild their marriage. He's trying to tell her that he's an asshole and she's not having none of it. And the tower gets taken over. John Wick. They steal his fucking car. They kill his dog. The Punisher. He's just being the Punisher.
Right.
But he's being inconvenienced because he's not on the clock.
He's already mad.
He's already mad. It'd be one thing if he was just out patrolling and then he found it. He wasn't even on the clock.
If he'd been walking down the street, he probably would have just walked. Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Maybe not, but
Yeah, it's like you, the nurse, you're off the clock, then someone just passes the fuck out right in front of you, and you're like, ugh. Same thing in that Punisher short.
Yeah.
I enjoy that about action movies. That is my favorite ploy, honestly and truly, for action movies, or just in general, where it's hard to do because you don't want it to come off as contrived, or it is a true machination of fate, a weaving of the timelines.
Right. I see what you're saying.
Like a Destiny thing. I don't like Destiny things.
It seems
too
like
terribly
chance.
Much. Yeah, you have to make it appear
and he has a choice
chance.
to get involved or walk away.
Correct.
Okay. I got you. Yeah.
With Die Hard, he's just trying to make amends. He just so happened to be at the right place at the wrong time. The wrong place at the right time.
Sure.
John Wick, that was a chance with a stranger. He didn't know that kid. That kid definitely didn't know him.
Sure.
Because if he did, he would not have done that. He wouldn't even looked at his general direction.
True.
Which is kind of weird to think because you think his father would be like, okay, be safe, take your bodyguards, take Ivan. Oh, by the way, don't fuck with John Wick. Yeah.
Yeah.
You would think that would be in the top 3 things that that mafia boss would have told.
And he punched him in the gizzard.
Yeah, in his 3 gizzards. I don't know. I like it when it appears as a chance encounter. Rather than outside forces conspiring against them,
it's almost like a fate payback.
Kind of like that. The most recent example I personally seen was Polar. We've already talked Polar to death because I'm like, what the fuck is this movie? The answer is it's Canadian.
Go for it.
Yeah, they can apparently do. They can get away with a lot more stuff up in Canada. Apparently, you know what? More power to them.
More power to them.
Indeed. So. Here's the thing, that was basically, they wanted to kill the main character because it would align the pockets of the guy that he's working for.
Sure.
That's like, it's okay, but it's outside forces conspiring against the main character when they obviously should have left him alone. You know what I mean?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
These people just roll up and step in it.
Yeah.
With no... When
they should have known better.
Well, when they shouldn't be acting that way to anyone.
Yeah.
They pick on the wrong person.
Correct.
Basically is what happens.
Yeah, it's this whole thing where these outside influences here's the thing, this is his boss, these are his co-workers, because it's like an amalgamation of assassins and all that fun stuff. And Polar.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, they work together. They know how each other works, you see, for the most part. These guys decided, we're going to kill this guy even though we understand how he operates and we should know better, you see.
Right. Well, they think he's old, they think he's over the hill, so they don't understand what, the wisdom that age brings, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and there's also the term, which is, you are always afraid of the old man in the job for young men.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It makes sense to me.
Yeah, like you said mostly ER nurses stick around like 3-5 years-ish.
Right.
You've done it for like 20.
Something like that.
So in that ballpark.
Based on hours and cases, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Not that people should be afraid of you, just you're kind of the one guy who's like, okay, takes a sip of coffee.
Be with you in a minute.
Yeah, just look at somebody at a glance and go, room 10, take a sip of coffee. So
there was a time.
Yeah, there was a time. And then there's stuff like the Chosen One stories, which, let's just face it, they're kind of done to death.
What do you mean?
The Chosen One, like, Chosen One stories, kind of like that not Bruce Campbell, Joseph Campbell, that whole Hero with 1,000 Faces.
Yeah. There's
nothing wrong with it, but that style of storytelling where it's revolving around a chosen one.
Oh, you mean like Star Wars?
Kind of like Star Wars.
Like Luke Skywalker?
Or, sort of, like these big prophecy-type stories. Dune is kind of the one exception because Dune is so fucking weird.
You mean because it comes with a myth that says
there will be this one person
that shows up and according to the prophecy and we have to kill him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that has kind of been done to death.
That's what I mean. I think we should start and there's nothing wrong with Chosen One stories. Just we gotta cut it back a little.
Well.
And plus, they're not relatable anymore. I mean, there was a time when people could, like, sit by themselves and go, maybe I was predestined for something special. But in my opinion, I think the climate is starting to shift to where it's a little bit more relatable if the movie showed like a John Wick situation. You're just minding your own business.
I was just minding my own business.
And some
I was
dumb
just walking
shit
down the street.
Yeah, and some dumb shit falls into your lap.
And I had to whoop some ass.
And you had to whoop some ass. The spy who dumped me.
Oh, okay.
That's what I mean by that movie.
That is such a good movie.
That movie personifies the whole I was minding my
own business
when some dumb shit started happening to me.
Go down.
Yeah. That movie personifies
over and over through the whole film.
Yeah, it's these
They're constantly walking into situations.
They were just minding their own business.
Minding their own business.
Trying to get by one day at a time. And then all of a sudden, there
was only one huge plot hole in the entire movie.
How so?
It was oh my God, we're so lucky. Our passports are still in the glove compartment.
Yeah, that's fair.
And they had to interject that there, right?
Yeah.
Because they're running away from a scene and they have to go to Europe, like right now. Hey, look, our passports are in the glove box.
Yeah.
Well, that was a cool way to put it in there. I mean, you knew it was shaky, but, hey.
It's something to move along, but whatever.
Whatever. But you didn't really, it's kind of tongue-in-cheek movie anyway.
Oh,
so
yeah.
You wouldn't expect to be grounded too much.
Too terribly much. No, not really. Yeah, if that didn't ground you into reality, definitely the appearance of fucking Scully did.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, now here's the thing. No disrespect to her, but that was kind of like the whole, wait a fucking minute. That just woke me up out of the quote-unquote the dream sequence. Is like, the fuck is Scully doing here? Anyway.
Every time I see her pop out in a movie, I do that.
Oh, yeah, it's like, what the fuck?
What is Scully doing here?
Oh, yeah. I had the similar issue with the TV show Hannibal, where all of a sudden the woman that plays Scully is Hannibal's own therapist. And it's like, hey, whoa, wait, what the fuck? No disrespect to Miss Anderson, for realsies.
Yeah.
She just is too iconic.
It's hard to get away from that.
Oh yeah, like I think disrespect.
She's done because you actually got to stare at her for a second and go,
oh yeah,
oh that's who that is, because she doesn't look like the other person at all.
Unfortunately, not anymore due to plastic surgery, which is unfortunate.
And hair color,
and hair color, yeah, it's unfortunate. But look, I get she's done other stuff. I think she's had a I wouldn't per se say successful. I wouldn't say successful per se. Definitely more of a stable career than her opposite, David Duchovny.
Oh, yeah. He took off like a rocket.
Crashed, did some stuff like voiceover work, Californication, which is okay.
Yeah.
He was obviously the best part, in my opinion, but, she's had some pretty steady stuff, like doing movies still, Hannibal, The Spy Who Dumped Me, and a bunch of little bit stuff.
She was in one of the Men in Black movies, wasn't she?
Yes.
She's always that authoritative.
No. That wasn't. I don't think that was Miss Scully. I think that was fucking. Emma Thompson. Yeah.
Yeah. You're right.
Yeah. Sometimes they can kind of blur together just a tad, but you get what I mean.
Sure.
Yeah, when I saw her in the Hannibal TV show, I was like, what the fuck is happening?
Throws you off.
Yeah, that TV show is already a mindfuck. That just made it worse. It's like, where are the aliens?
Yeah. You're just waiting for the shoe to drop.
Oh yeah, I was just waiting because like I've expounded in that show, it's like, okay, Hannibal already has a predictive algorithm for a brain. He's a fucking ninja in this TV show. Where are the aliens? Will is an alien. Confirmed.
You've already suspended belief, so
yeah.
Hey, what's left?
Fuck it.
Yeah, that's right.
See Hannibal Lecter fight some aliens. He'd win too because
be interesting.
Yeah, that he'd win just because. Like I said, you can't really.
He has a penchant for foreign food.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hannibal Lecter in the TV show is definitely the type of guy that would play 5D chess.
That's it.
Yes.
You would defeat and consume your enemies.
And therefore become your enemies. I always thought that was kind of funny. I get there's that whole cultural thing where, cannibalism used to, at times can be used as consuming the essence of your enemy or whatever you just hunted.
That was the positive spin.
That was the positive spin. But I'm looking at this going, okay, so if that is in play, and Hannibal Lecter is essentially eating the douchebags of the world, because that's kind of the main draw. People he deemed were uncourteous and rude, he just, like, hunt them down and kill them and eat them.
That's a good point.
So, I'm like, so, what you're saying is...
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
If you're going to take the time to eat someone...
You're going to eat the dickhead. Literally. Oh.
Oh, it's terrible.
And I'm like, why is no one bringing this up? No one interjects or entertains this idea that they don't try to mind. Well, obviously, trying to mind in universe, mind you.
Right.
I'm talking in universe. The person trying to mind fuck Hannibal Lecter is gonna have a hard enough time. But I wanted one person just to add, like they're not trying to be mean. They're not trying to be demeaning. Not trying to be rude. Not trying to make themselves a target.
Right.
They just honest to God question. And they ask him that question of if part of the draw is consuming the essence, taking in the essence of your supposed enemy that you're eating, would that also make you a douchebag? You see what I mean? Like, no,
absolutely.
No point in the canon to
Clear as a bell.
Yeah, at no point in the canon does anyone ask him that question, that character that question. Is like, so what's up with that? How do you logic your way out of that mindset? You see what I mean? No one asked that question, and I always waited for it every time they interject like a new property in that whole thing, movie, book, TV show, whatever. Nothing. And I'm still upset.
He wants to turn him into poo. What else is there?
I guess. That's about all I can think of. Anyway.
Anyway.
Ugh.
Man, I gotta start writing stuff down. I had something good yesterday. I really did.
Why don't you write this stuff down?
No, I meant to, and I got...
I had something written down that does not really connect... Well, it connects to something...
I'll tell you what.
What?
I'll just, from now on, when I have an idea, I'll text it to you.
Okay.
That way it'll just be out in the open.
Okay, that's cool.
How about that?
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay.
At least that way you have a written record of it.
Yep.
Because, I mean, a couple of days ago, I wrote something down which vaguely... it vaguely relates to the Tool conversation. It was like, I've discovered... I had written to myself, Maynard from Tool once judo through a fan and then held him restrained for 10 minutes while he still sang on stage. And
All
I was,
right.
yeah, that was... that.
Encore.
Yeah, that actually happened. Apparently that actually happened.
Encore.
Oh, yeah. You see, here's the thing.
Think you're tough, buddy?
Oh.
How about sing the final song with me laying on top of you?
Yeah, exactly. No. Here's what happened.
Yeah.
Kind of sort of going back to the Tool conversation, this sort of kind of relates. There are a few musicians and artists out there I would consider to be deranged and unhinged or flat out crazy.
Why not?
Ted Nugent.
He's definitely in the running.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Like, no disrespect.
No.
For reals.
What
I'm not disrespecting Uncle Ted.
Nope.
He understands who he is. He bought a shit ton of land, has all the guns, and he just hunts when he's not doing other stuff.
That's all he does.
That's all he does. And that's cool. That's his thing.
That's his thing.
Don't fuck with Uncle Ted. Ever.
I don't recommend it.
No. Do not fuck with Ted Nugent. You see. There are certain artists who I kind of have that, I've attributed that to them, where it's like, please don't fuck with this person. Please don't.
Right.
Where that whole tough demeanor is legit. A lot of older artists, of course, nowadays most people are just either pleasant to be around or nonverbal or they're just assholes.
Or tough because they got 6 bodyguards standing by them.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, okay, you're either... Most of the celebrities and people nowadays, they're either pretty nice to talk to, or they're just an asshole because they got 6 bodyguards and they have a overdeveloped sense of entitlement.
Absolutely.
There is not really a lot of mainstream tough guys that are actual tough guys.
They're too pretty.
Yeah. I mean, unless you're talking about Keanu Reeves, who actually knows how to kill you. But he's such a nice guy, and as long as you don't make him upset, he's not going to do anything.
He won't go all Liam Neeson on your ass.
Yeah, exactly. You know? That's kind of my thing. There's not really a lot of tough guy musicians anymore. Not really.
No, not really.
Maybe like one, but not really.
They're all like boy bands. They're
Yeah.
all like put together in a studio.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you know.
Although, to be fair, if you had to pick out the one member of the bands that would be liable to kick your ass, it'd most likely be either the drummer or the bass player. Because for some reason, those people are crazy.
For some reason, yes.
Yeah. Sometimes the guitar player's crazy.
You look at a band
sometimes
like,
the singer's crazy. No, it's usually the drummer or
back
the bass.
from my time, you know, it was like AC/DC.
Really?
They all look beat up. Everybody's missing at least one tooth in front.
At least.
So, you know.
But they still kick ass.
They, you know.
Yeah.
Tough people.
Oh, yeah. So, there are not a lot of people I would attribute that whole, hey, don't mess with them status to.
Well, there used to be a lot of tribal, territorial type stuff. That's why there was this big
Really?
dust up between metal and punk.
Yeah.
And you could get metal and punk people in the same
no.
bar, and then fists would start to fly.
Oh, yeah.
And then the only thing that really united them was when the skinheads would show up.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that would cause the punk and the metal heads to beat up the skinheads.
It was a common enemy.
Yeah, if you had long hair and walked into a bar that looked like a skinhead bar, everybody had bald heads. You better get out fast.
Very fast.
Very fast.
Yeah, that whole dynamic was the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
So yeah, that kind of
that happened.
That does happen.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
So there are just a few people I would call basically crazy. Maynard from Tool is not really one of them. He's not crazy like Ted Nugent.
He has quite a following, but no. He's not like Ted Nugent.
No, he's not like Ted Nugent crazy. He's unhinged.
Right.
But he's not Ted Nugent unhinged.
Nope.
And I remember catching a video. There's a couple online. It was just, I was looking up their albums, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, hey, watch this. There was a video. I guarantee you this happened exactly one time, and this was the only time it really happened, because no one would do it again after this. It was Tool playing an event. I don't remember where it was. I don't know if it was even said in the video. All I remember is they were playing something, as you do.
Yeah.
Band gets up on the stage. This guy is clearly drunk. Because he's just kind of standing around with his arms up, being all like, hey, I'm on the stage.
Yeah.
And if you've ever seen Tool play live, or seen like videos of them doing it live, you can very obviously see everyone is in a certain state of mind. Everyone's got their thing.
Sure.
To prepare themselves from going up on stage. I don't know what Maynard does to prepare to go on stage, but he looks like a fucking lunatic every single time.
Sure.
And this fan clearly was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Because at some point, Maynard comes up to this fan, and the video's kind of blurry, so I'm not sure what exactly happened. But I think he goes up and, they try to shake hands. And Maynard fucking judo throws this poor sumbitch. And it is not a nice judo throw where he's just playing around. No, he fucking slams him into the stage.
All right.
Gets on him and has him in some sort of Brazilian jiu-jitsu hold. He still has the microphone, and he's still singing the song.
All right.
He's got this guy in some kind of rear naked chokehold of sorts, and he's still singing the song.
Going all Joe Rogan on him.
Oh my god, yeah. And the caption under the video was, and he held him for another 10 minutes. And I'm like, this guy did what?
All right.
He slams this guy into the stage, has him in a rear naked chokehold, and proceeds to keep singing for another 10 minutes before someone decided to do something.
That guy was so happy he probably had a...
He probably was happy. Like, I got judo through it and choked out by Maynard.
Choked out by Maynard from Tool.
From Tool.
I tell that story at a party years
Oh
from now.
my god, he probably does.
You think you're tough? Okay, one time
I got so fucking drunk.
I got choked out by Maynard from Tool. Beat that.
Yeah, beat that.
Peasant.
And I'm just like, why? My main question was, why didn't security do something? You think the very second...
Maybe Maynard had some kind of fetish about wrestling with a sweaty fan.
I don't know. You know what? Knowing him, I wouldn't be surprised. He is so...
No, don't come get him yet.
Yeah, because I'm just like, why didn't anyone do anything?
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, he's just unhinged.
Everybody in the stage crew so up.
Oh yeah.
Let him get him out of there. Who knows?
Yeah, it was also followed. That clip was also followed by him basically.
He might have warned the crew. Okay, one of these days, one of these drunk bastards is going to jump up here, and I'm going to whoop his ass. You better not get in my way, okay? Okay, Fred.
Yeah.
Tell Doug, don't fuck with me.
Yeah.
All right.
Don't do this. I don't know. Knowing him, knowing from that, I'm like, you know what? I'm just. Yeah.
All those years of taking shit, he just whooped somebody's ass on the stage.
I would.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I will. I am. Yeah.
Sure.
He also that particular video also followed it with a clip. It was like a separate concert. It has to be years later, at least.
Yeah.
Or earlier, whatever. Him talking about how much he liked waffles.
Oh, that's.
Yeah, like he's in concert. Yeah, Maynard's just like, I love waffles.
All right.
And he says something like, I can't really hear it. It was something like, it's blah de blah album 10,000 days. So go buy it so I can afford waffles. And I'm like, respect.
All right.
Yeah, as soon as I heard that, I went, I respect that.
What's the matter? You don't like pancakes, you un-American bitch?
No, I'm just like, I can't.
Flapjacks, yo.
I'm just like, I can't find a fault in his logic.
Yeah.
I will have to buy the Tool album so we can afford waffles. I just can't. I can't not do it now.
Not do it now.
Because normally for
it's holding me responsible.
Exactly, and not to admit to any wrongdoings, but it's kind of become socially acceptable to, not so legally procure music from
Right.
like really big musicians and artists.
Sure.
You know,
Sure.
because they got a lot of money. Apparently,
that's the rationale.
That's the rationale.
I'm not saying I agree with it, but that's the rationale.
No, I'm just saying that is the rationale.
Right.
This is not going to be one of those times because, like I said, waffles. I was like, you know what? I can't disagree with that.
Sure.
Yeah, get you some waffles.
Waffles. Tasty waffles.
So that's what I wrote down a couple days ago for the podcast, and I've talked about it. So
waffles, yo.
Waffles, tasty waffles with lots of syrup.
Lots of syrup.
Yeah. I want pancakes.
Maybe next week.
No.
Today?
Maybe.
No.
It's just water and mix.
Yeah, I know. Anyway.
You got anything?
I'm good.
All right. Where's a piece of paper? So yeah, we're ending it as we began, I guess.
With waffles.
With waffles. I want pancakes. Alrighty.
Yeah.
Well, that's it, folks. I was your host, Bel-E.
And I was your co-host, Mr. Scratch.
And we'll see you guys next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday.
Bye.